You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Okay, so Hannity interviewed Donald Trump last night. Part 2's tonight, and I played a lot of clips on the radio. I just want to play one clip I did not play on the radio this morning of the interview, and this is such a textbook example of Hannity screwing it up by making everything about him. Donald Trump broke something major that is a huge scandal that was stolen from his home Mar-a-Lago during the break-in, and Hannity is so busy talking and thinking about himself,
busy being Hannity.
Yeah, that he interrupted President Trump, breaking some major news and blew the whole thing. But I'm going to play the clip and talk about what Donald Trump broke, and it really shows you the craziness that went on when Mar-a-Lago was ransacked. This is the only clip I'm going to play on the podcast from the interview, and I just got today the new iPhone. But this is the 14, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got the iPhone.
Mine's coming in the mail. You and Emily got your phones. I'm still waiting on mine.
Yeah, I got the iPhone 14 today, and
you got the Max.
I'm actually going to play. This is the first time I've used it. I've only been using it for like 5 minutes.
Phone.
I'm going to play the audio actually on the show today from my iPhone, just because I want to see how it sounds.
Yeah.
So you'll hear. This is directly from my iPhone. This is the iPhone 14, and I got the Max Plus
the
size.
Pro Max.
Yeah, and this is
the Plus Max.
This is Hannity with Trump last night.
I think they took my will. I found out yesterday. I said, "Where is it?"
Am I in it?
I think they took my will. It could cause a lot of problems.
No.
That could cause a lot of people, a lot of problems if that gets published from people that won't be so happy, or maybe will be very happy.
Okay.
But no, I think they took my will. No, it's a horrible thing.
Okay, no one's a bigger fanboy of Donald Trump than me, but Hannity, what a dummy he is. You know, he's just laughing. Donald Trump broke this information about his will, and it's all about me, and then he keeps laughing.
He makes everything about him.
Am I in it?
Yeah.
What a lunatic. The guy makes over $50 million a year. I'll do the job for half that, Fox, okay?
A quarter.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll negotiate my own contract. Thank you. But here's he's only getting half. The ex-wife's getting half of what he gets.
That's true.
He's only getting
Yes. That's true.
Okay. This thing with the will, because this was breaking news because we haven't gotten a lot of information on the specifics of what they took out of Mar-a-Lago, but the will, a will is a will. Okay? There's no mistaking a will is a will. They took it. And that was taken, I believe, on purpose. That will, who knows what's in that will and who he's leaving things to. And very few people, there are very few families that you would go to when the will is read that everyone's happy. There's always going to be people that are slighted. There's always going to be someone who gets an inheritance that people are like, at this level.
I'm surprised they haven't leaked that yet.
Yeah, why are they even getting money? So this will of Donald Trump's was taken by the FBI. The thing about the will, it may not be a current will. He may have made a will 30 years ago, and it's just laying around in the safe at Mar-a-Lago, and he's updated his final wishes many times since then or something. We don't even know.
I'm surprised he has a will. He should call Barry Siegel and get a trust. I'm really that's very old school.
Yeah.
Very old school thinking.
Donald Trump's will I expect to see it published in the New York Times or the Washington Post. And they're probably holding on to the will as an October surprise, not this time because he's not on the ballot, but 2024. There could be, Donald Trump's a nice guy, right? And when he's running in 2024, they could release this will, and you might find out, I'm not saying this is, I don't know what's in it. He could be leaving $10 million to someone we've never heard of. He could leave $50 million to his second wife, You understand what I mean? Who knows what's in this will?
Or he could be leaving a lot of money to charity, which is something they would not want people to know.
That would not surprise me.
Yeah, maybe that's why they're not telling
But
people.
At some point, this will, it's amazing how these people accuse him of stealing documents when they stole something that's very personal, very private, and no one's business, and that's his will. This will, I know it's more interesting to say, am I in it? Am I in it? What a jerk. You know, this will is going to find its way either in the New York Times or the Washington Post. It'll be on the front page, and they'll have it printed there. It will get leaked out because all these things get leaked. And this was the first time, other than the passport, that we were told something specific that they took. And it really shows you what they were doing. It was a political dirt-digging operation that they were after.
Are you surprised he has not been indicted yet? Or do you think they're waiting until right before the election?
Yeah, I thought when the break-in first happened, I thought the indictment was a sure thing.
Yeah.
Then I went to 60-40. Now I'm at 60-40, but against the indictment. And I'll tell you why that is. Because nothing's leaked out. You know, just like Mike Lindell's phone. They took Mike Lindell's phone a week and a half ago. Nothing's leaked out of the phone, which means nothing was in it. Let me tell you, they were inside that phone while he was still in the Hardee's parking lot talking to the FBI. They already had some computer expert and an FBI truck right out in front of the Hardee's going through. Everything at Mar-a-Lago has been researched. They went in there looking for embarrassing things to use against him. And I'll tell you, one of the things, Sean Hannity is the worst interviewer. Well, I take that back. There's one person that's worse. Who's that girl that won American Idol the first time that does Kelly Clarkson?
Oh God, yes.
I've seen Kelly Clarkson's show.
She's equally bad.
She's worse than Hannity, okay? But not much worse because it's hard to be worse. Hannity, there's something I'm curious about too, okay? And you ask these questions, Mr. President, they said that they broke into your safe. Is that true? He didn't even ask. Here's another thing. They went into Barron's room. Barron, who may hold the Guinness Book of World Records for the tallest billionaire teenager in world history, right? He's pretty tall. I'm curious if they took his gaming system and his computers.
There are so many things.
Hannity didn't get into that. Am I in the will?
There are so many.
Idiots.
He asks horrible questions because Hannity has like 5 or 6 standard things he always likes to talk about. But there are so many things, like you said, that you would want to ask President Trump, like that kind of stuff. And that people are dying to know. And if you ask Trump, he'll tell you. He's not going to hide it or hold back. He'll tell you. But he never asks the kinds of questions that people really want to know about. He only asks things that can circle back to him and involve him and their relationship.
I'll give you an example.
He's just a total narcissist. That's probably why his wife left him.
Glenn Beck, when he was still on Fox, he interviewed Sarah Palin, and it was one of the first interviews she did after they lost to Obama, and it was coming up on Halloween. And he says, you and I have the most popular Halloween masks this year. And, can you imagine opening the door and seeing me? And then someone's with you. And then it's me. And then me. And then me. And that's Hannity.
Yeah.
And what another thing Hannity's doing is he's showing off all the time to Trump in his mind. And the only thing he's showing off is what a jerk he is. Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't think I have disclosed this on the program. Okay? But Donald Trump recently listened to me on the radio. And I know for a fact he did, okay? And I got a very good report about it, by the way. And it happened to be on an exceptionally good show. And when I don't think, I mean, Kathy knows, because when I found this out, I was in a meeting and found out that Donald Trump had listened to me this particular day. And I was like, wow, wow, wow. And I walked out and I almost passed out, teared up, and then I called you. I was like tearing up. I got a very good report about it, and I called you about it. I don't think I've told any of you guys that on the program. And, and I know that not only has Donald Trump listened to me, but more than once, and people around him have. but I'm not showing off when I'm on the air. You know what I mean? And making myself look like a jerk, like this guy did. This thing with the will shows you how much of a violation they did to this family, looking for I remember when Donald Trump first announced he was running officially. I was in favor of Donald Trump running back in 2011. It ended up being Mitt Romney, but he was teasing. Remember, he went out and had pizza with Sarah Palin in New York, and he was talking about running and everything. Even on an episode of The Celebrity Apprentice, Nene Leakes was on. He says, Nene, should I run for president? And she said, yeah, sure, Mr. Trump. And back then, this was like 2010, 2011, on the radio, I was talking from time to time about Donald Trump running as the Republican nominee, and I would get nasty calls from Never-Trumpers then about it, very shocking about it. But I've always wanted him to run, but I really didn't know as much about him then as I do now. None of us did. And when he first announced, I thought there's no way they're not going to find something that's embarrassing from him back in the 70s. I mean, he wasn't a billionaire yet, but he was a millionaire, Studio 54 and everything. And it really is amazing. There are very few men, right? He is in a league unlike mortal men. How many men can be world famous, rich beyond imagination, a billionaire 10 times over, and not have some scummy history like, remember, was it David Copperfield that had an island in the Bahamas and women made allegations?
Yeah.
Look at this crap with Adam Levine from Maroon 5, going on Instagram, on fitness girls on Instagram and picking them up. And there was Armie Hammer, the cannibal actor, was on Instagram finding girls that he could eat and stuff. I was pretty surprised in the first campaign that someone as rich and famous as Donald Trump had they thought they had him once. They found this, not a playboy, they found a penthouse playmate that he had sex with.
Karen McDougal.
And they went to her and interviewed her.
She was very pretty.
They went to her and interviewed her, and she gave an interview. And she said he was a complete gentleman. He gave her a lot of career advice, and he was great in bed.
what a horrible guy.
Terrible. And he was single at the time, by the way. This was between Marla Maples and Melania. And it never. That was the sleaziest thing we ever. And I think the media and the liberals, they think all rich guys are like the Kennedys, and they just assumed it's only a matter of time before we find some scumminess.
Because that's how they are.
Yeah,
they think that they're all
right.
like that.
So I think the fact that he is such a squeaky clean Marine with his fame and his unlimited wealth is. Remember when? What was the guy's name, Kathy? I'm getting like Biden. I'm not remembering. Steve and I went to Wings Plus with him, the black Republican that ran for president, who was the CEO of Godfather's Pizza, Herman Cain. Okay, Herman Cain. Remember Herman Cain he's right, very popular, and then all of a sudden we find out he's a sugar daddy. He had this woman who was white, and she lived in, was it Georgia or Chicago? She lived at one time in the same building with David Axelrod in Chicago. This happened, I think she lived in Atlanta. It was found out, it was rumored that she had a sugar daddy, and his name was Herman Cain. He was running for president. And a local reporter went to her house and interviewed her, and she says, well, I'll get him on the phone. And she took out her cell phone on the camera, and Herman Cain answered. And it was really embarrassing. Guys, remember that? He's passed away since. But remember all that? That was crazy stuff. And he was worth a few $1 million, but he wasn't famous or nearly as rich as Donald Trump. And nothing like that all these years has come out about Donald Trump, because he is just been a moral guy he's more moral than a priest.
I want you to look at your Twitter. I retweeted this thing with Pelosi. It's about to go viral. It's getting retweeted a lot.
Oh.
It's had 62,000 views. It was just uploaded.
It's my first time on Twitter on my new iPhone 14.
I just go to your profile, your tweets and retweets, and you'll see Benny Johnson tweeted this. And it's a very interesting.
Oh, she's when she talks about saving the planet.
Yeah, and how much it's cost so far.
Okay, let me get it.
She thinks she's a hero.
Well, let me cue that up. But
global warming, you'll understand after you hear this, is a big money grab. Well, it's a big lie that's a money grab.
Just let me finish this thing with Trump, then I'll play this. They went into Donald Trump's home over a month ago and took the most personal things from his home. We know because they took his will, which may not be his current will. That will may be 30 years old, and he's got 20 others since then. It may not be like the official. When they're taking something so personal as that, all of you out there probably have at home personal papers. You don't take them out and show everybody at the barbecue. They're personal, they're private, they're intimate, they're nobody's business. And when they took something that personal, that private, they imagine what else they took. They are looking to do some damage to his family by trying a will. Knowing what's in a will can split families apart.
I think they haven't released the will because I think he's given a lot to charity, and
it makes him look
too good. Because if there was anything in there that would cause problems in his family, it would have been released by now. But I think when he said there's some people that might not be happy, I think he's giving a lot of his money to charities.
Well, I think you're right. Okay, now here's the thing.
I really do.
I know a little bit about...
And not his kids, so that might upset them.
I know a little bit about estate planning because Attorney Barry Siegel with us on the radio. And when I heard a will, I thought a minute, well, wait a minute, that sounds strange. And I bet you this. I bet the kids and the wives, they all have stock in the companies. They already own it in certain ways. The will is a way to handle the estate taxes, which would be massive on an estate his size. And you're probably right. The estate taxes and everything are going to be paid through the will, and it's probably millions of dollars going to charities.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And if they leak out the will, you're going to find out that he's a great charitable humanitarian.
Right.
It makes him look good.
Exactly.
And they can't let that out. Now, listen, we're going to take our break. When we get back, I'll play this audio of Nancy Pelosi that Kathy was just talking about. And we got a lot more to talk about as well. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
It's time to vibe with a purpose. Vibing with Purpose is an Etsy shop that wants to speak to your soul with items that are perfect for all occasions and holidays. And everything is meant to spoil and pamper you. Online at etsy.com/shop/vibing with purpose. You will find something that speaks to your spirit in their spiritual healing shop that allows you to be taken care of. Make sure to check out their amazing sprays, accessories, home decor bath salts, their self-care gifts, candles, crystals, ritual boxes, and so much more. Don't let bad vibes weigh you down. Let Vibing with Purpose lift you up. All orders are shipped fast directly to you. Shop now and receive 30% off when you use the code SAVE30. That's SAVE30 to get 30% off. Etsy.com/shop/vibing with purpose. Attention business owners and those looking to add a new revenue stream to their business, as well as those of you looking for a way to build wealth without Wall Street or real estate investing. Maybe you've been considering e-commerce or another online model. Visit Voltage B2B, that's the number 2, VoltageB2B.com, and watch the free presentation with Neil Twa, CEO of Voltage Holdings, and Kevin Harrington, the original shark from the hit television series Shark Tank, where Neil breaks down his method of making money, working when you want, at home or anywhere. If you've been considering e-commerce, then go to VoltageB2B.com right now to learn how you can have your very own profitable e-commerce business using Amazon. That's VoltageB2B.com to check out this free presentation that explains it all in detail. That's VoltageB2B.com and check out the free presentation that explains in detail how people just like you are making money working just 10 to 15 hours a week. VoltageB2B.com. That's the number 2. VoltageB2B.com. The world is a beautiful place just waiting to be explored. The online store, earthswrap.com, assists you to explore the most beautiful places in the world. They carry sleeping accessories, kitchen items, tents, hiking shoes, and much, much more. These are premium quality products that will set you up to explore every part of the world you want to go with ease and preparedness. When you visit the shop, make sure to check out their amazing hiking backpacks, travel bags, outdoor jackets, and hammocks. They offer competitive prices and incredible customer service. Start shopping today so you can explore tomorrow. earthswrap.com.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, Broadcasting from sunny South Florida, Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Yeah, so Benny Johnson, who's really good. I like Benny Johnson.
Oh, he's funny.
He lives in Florida too, Benny Johnson. Yeah. He's over in the Tampa area.
He was at CPAC, and I watched his, at Turning Point USA, which was really good. And I watched his little speech. It was hilarious.
Yeah, so Kathy was talking about this Pelosi video from today. Benny Johnson tweeted it. So let me play this. This is also on the iPhone 14. I haven't had time to play with my iPhone 14 yet.
I got the purple one. I'm excited. That's why mine's coming later than yours, because I got the cool color.
You know, I like purple, but that's kind of gay for me. I can't have a purple phone. But I wish they came in orange, because orange is my favorite color. But I got the white.
I don't really love purple. It's actually not my favorite color. My favorite color is blue, and I don't love purple, but I think having a purple phone's pretty damn cool.
The reason I had the 12 Pro, and now I've gone up to the 14 Pro, and then I have the Max. Is that what that's called, the Max?
You got the Pro Max.
The Pro Max, the big one.
That's what I have, yeah. It's awesome.
I do so much live streaming on YouTube. I go through phone batteries like crazy.
Yeah.
And I can't charge my battery on my phone while I'm live streaming on the radio, because the microphone I use is a lavalier mic that clips onto my shirt. I'm sure you guys see it on YouTube in the mornings on the radio. That plugs into the iPhone in the same port as a charger would. So this one here, so it's very tough to get through that 3 hours. In fact, to get my phone battery is so good. When I get off the air, before I go on the air, I turn it so I get no notifications. I turn the battery down so it doesn't update the apps. I turn the brightness dim as it goes. I can't even see it. That's why I watch on my iPad. And when the 3 hours is up on the radio, the phone is done.
Yeah.
And
we'll see how this one does tomorrow.
Well, it's because the battery's old. It's not. Yeah. It's only like 78% of its
it's
capability.
Because when I got the upgrade, I had to pay a little bit. I had to pay my phone off to upgrade it, right? And the reason I did is because my phone is totally trashed. Like the whole back is completely shattered. I dropped my phone too much. And it's like hanging on by a thread.
It's only held together by the case.
Yeah, it's really bad.
The
so
protective case.
I paid to pay off my phone. And then when I called Verizon, because you and Emily traded your phones in. When I called Verizon, though, they told me, oh, you can still trade your phone in as long as the battery works. It's still fine.
Yeah.
I said, it's totally shattered. They're like, it doesn't matter. Trade it in and you'll get the money back.
$7. They'll give you $7 probably.
We'll see. So I'm excited about that.
But before you do that, we should take a picture and show people, because the only thing holding it together is the protective case.
It's embarrassing.
If you took the protective case off of it. But this phone here, the battery should last forever. The cameras on this iPhone 14 are huge. These are like cameras at a movie studio in the 40s. But anyway, enough of that. So I don't know what it does. I've just used it for the first time.
And I've been using this shattered phone
now.
for a year, by the way. It's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah. So let me play this. This is Nancy Pelosi today.
And we saved the planet. We're saving the planet with record $360 billion to save the planet, and generating jobs and cleaner air and cleaner water and jobs and security for our country.
Well, she thinks she has saved the planet Earth, Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, right, Nancy.
$360
billion.
I think that slipped.
And she saved the planet.
Because I don't think people realized, is that how much money our government has spent?
Well, most of it would be us.
BS green energy things. By the way, how much of that is her cut?
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm sure she's getting a percentage, like all of them are, because this is a big money grab.
Yeah.
And it's a money grab because they pay off certain companies. And I'm sure they keep a little bit for themselves off the top. I mean, this is how this works. Global warming is a scam. It's a big fraud and it's a scam. And one of the reasons you know this is because sometimes our weather, we watch the I can't remember the PTV or something. Steve Weagle's the weather guy. I love him. And he often talks about stuff in the history of weather since they've been recording it. If we have a temperature, he'll say, oh, this beats the temperature we had 100 years ago. He does that all the time. And he often talks about hurricane storms and how strong they were back in the early 20th century, even sometimes the 1800s. He'll talk about temperatures in 1905 and, oh, we had a record in 1905. So if the climate is changing so much, how come there was a record heat wave in the early 20th century? Shouldn't things be consistently going up over time, over and over again?
Nobody believes that's true.
It's all BS. Made up. But completely made up.
Let me tell you how stupid. People,
360 billion. That's incredible.
Biden. It's all thieves. They're thieves.
My God.
Biden was at the UN this week, and all he talked about was we spent 20 billion on this and 80 billion on that, and we're doing more. We joined the climate accords and all this. The UN is the biggest financial scam in history. Yeah. And I didn't waste any time I don't listen to Biden speak too much anyway, but I'm not interested in what anyone has to say at the UN except when Donald Trump's speaking there. The UN is the biggest scam. It should no longer exist. The reason there's a UN is, Woodrow Wilson after World War I started the League of Nations, which didn't work and fell apart. And then at the end of the Second World War, they brought together the United Nations. And what the United Nations was supposed to be, the same with the League of Nations. The United Nations, after World War II, is when it was going to avoid wars in the future. When nations had conflicts, instead of invading Poland, right, the Nazis and the Poles would come to the UN and just hash it all out, and it would end all wars if we just had this UN where countries could settle their differences over a game of Risk or something, and that would be the end. And what it's really become is just a place for American presidents and senators and Congress people just to give away all the taxpayer money to their friends so their families can get payoffs and they can get rich.
It's to make their global deals.
It's
screw us over. We're just a piggy bank to these people.
The United Nations is the largest money laundering scam.
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people don't like the Fed. I get that. But the United Nations is worse. And they tried this thing at the United Nations. A lot of you, because you're new to politics since Trump came down the escalator, you're lucky. You didn't follow the politics maybe during the Obama era and before. But when Obama was president, they were trying to have a global carbon tax. Obama was trying to put this through, and it was going to be done through the UN.
That's their fantasy.
And what they were going to do with the global carbon tax that all of us would pay, the money was going to go to the UN. And what Obama, when people talk about globalist, there are globalists out there, right? Jared Kushner is a globalist. We're talking. But all Democrats are globalists. Tony Blair is a globalist. King Charles. Excuse me. Prince Charles is a globalist. Okay, they're all globalist. And what the globalist failed. They almost took over the world with Obama. And what their plan was with the carbon tax, the
Great Reset.
Mm-hmm. What the plan was with the carbon tax was to take this tax from everybody in the world, mostly us, individual tax. Every time you buy something, you get a carbon tax for it and all of that. The money would go to the UN, and they were trying to do with the UN on a very large scale what the Vatican is. The Vatican is a nation state, right? Vatican City is a nation state. They were trying to turn the United Nations into a globalist nation state like the Vatican, and it would be very powerful with all this money that it would be gathering through the global carbon tax. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what they go read up on it. So the globalist failed with that. They're still around and causing us problems, which we're going to talk about. One of them was Soros in a few minutes. But they had a big failure with that. The United Nations should not exist, and the Security Council has permanent members on it, right? The United States, our World War II allies, right? United States, France, Great Britain, Russia, and isn't China a permanent member of the Security Council? I think they are. Russia should not be a permanent member of the Security Council anymore. The Soviet Union was, and that no longer exists. That should have been taken away from them when the Soviet Union collapsed. They're a new country now. How could you have an organization that has these third world dictate, and they do this rotating member to the Security Council? Sometimes it's Libya, sometimes it was Iraq before when Saddam was there. It's stupid. Iran, it's just stupid. It is a way for them to rape us and take our money and enrich themselves, and it's disgusting.
Well, they can't just come out and say, we're going to take billions and billions, $360 billion from you. And I really want to know where all that money came from and over what period of time. I think she said the quiet part out loud and where that money went exactly. But they can't come out and tell you, we're just going to take your money. They have to have a reason to take your money.
Yeah.
They have to have a reason. And this is something that's a global reason because it's something that everybody can get behind and care about and be worried about. And the Democrats and globalists use fear tactics to control you. So if they really, and there's really people like AOC that think that the world's coming to an end in 6 years or 7 years or 5 years, however much time is left on her clock. And they scare these young people especially into believing that the world is coming to an end. Let me tell you, when the world comes to an end, it's because God wants it to come to an end, okay? Not anybody else. He's in charge. And that, according to Revelations, will happen someday or, all that stuff. But the world is not going to come to an end from global warming. That's not going to happen. But they want you to think it is to scare you so you will reach into your pocket or so when they take your money, it's completely justified in your mind. Like, oh, well, they got to save the planet. So, go ahead and take 50% of my paycheck or go ahead and tax me on my emissions or do whatever you got to do because after all, we're all saving the planet here. I mean, Bill Maher, I always thought of him as such a smart person, but he said his top issue is climate change.
That's
that is
crazy.
His top issue. He's like Leonardo DiCaprio, two guys that have never grown up. They're Peter Pan. They have no wives, no children, and they date 25-year-old girls, and they never mature. That's why that's such an issue for them because they're stupid and they're easily brainwashed.
Yeah, they are stupid.
And I was really shocked that was his top issue because this is a guy that has no money problems. He has no kids and there's nothing else for him to care about other than this stupid made up issue that he feels he can get behind. And he's such an idiot. He's probably donated millions of dollars to this issue, which is a fake issue.
Yeah. Now, I want to take a moment to thank all of our Patreon supporters for their support. And, our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, Gary, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, and Macho. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much. And if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there is a link in the description of this and every episode to our Patreon page. And there are lots of perks to becoming a Patreon supporter, including Kathy and I just recorded an exclusive podcast episode for Patreon supporters, which will be available on our Patreon page soon. And there's a lot of other perks and benefits you get as being a Patreon supporter.
Well, Emily is going to start making Patreon-only merch.
Oh.
Which is merch that will only be available to the Patreon.
Oh, cool.
So
Exclusive
that's what
stuff?
she's working on, some exclusive designs.
Collectibles, the collector items. Yeah.
And things like that. Mm-hmm. That's stuff she's working on. And, give us a month or so, and she's going to start working on that Patreon exclusive merch.
So all of you that are Patreon supporters, on the Patreon exclusive podcast episode, we talked a little more detail about the changes and upgrades to our Patreon page, which are pretty cool. And so I'm not going to go through all that now. But if you would like to support the show, a great way to do that is to become a Patreon supporter.
Yes.
The direct website address is patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. Patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. But there is a link in the description of this episode.
And on your website, there's a link too.
BrianCraigShow.com.
Yep.
All right.
Links are there.
We'll take a quick break and be right back.
Stand by for an IEO announcement. The initial exchange offering for the S39 token is here. S39 is a community-driven token that has evolved into a prosperous ecosystem, and you can be a part of it. S39 token is a gold-pegged token and backed up commodities projects. It's available on the FEDS exchange, the digital marketplace that allows users to make transactions with the S39 token. At the FEDS exchange, users can buy and sell all of the assets assets in the S39 ecosystem. Take advantage of this initial exchange offering today and be a part of all S39 projects. There are over 100 of them. Go right now to findexexchange.net. That's FINDEXX and learn how you can participate. Learn more about the S39 token and read the white paper at S39token.com. Make sure to tell all your friends about S39 Token's initial exchange offering too. S39 Token, a community-driven token that has evolved into a prosperous ecosystem. There's no doubt about it. We live in a digital age, and if you own a business, digital marketing is your key to success. The book, Shortcuts to Digital Marketing, available on Amazon, is the perfect book for anyone looking to learn new skills or hone existing ones when it comes to digital marketing. In Shortcuts to Digital Marketing, you will learn everything you need to know about digital marketing, the latest updates and tools, and how to become a leading digital marketer. It's filled with insights and strategies for business owners, marketing professionals, students, and anyone else looking to hone their current skills and get up to speed on the latest in digital marketing. In this must-read book, you will find a website design guide, as well as different digital marketing tools. Learn to plan and execute your digital marketing strategies, as well as learn to create videos, content, and a social media content calendar. And that's just the beginning. Take your business to the next level and order your copy of this practical book, Shortcuts to Digital Marketing, available in Kindle and paperback on Amazon. When it comes to cologne and perfume, you want the scent you wear to say something about you, and you want to make a connection with that scent so it becomes a part of who you are. JCFragrance.com, that's JASI, sell hypnotic cologne and delicious perfume. When you smell good, you feel good. The hypnotic cologne has a perfect blend of musk, bergamot, ambergris, and tobacco. This cologne leaves you with a refreshing and exceptionally long-lasting aroma unlike any other, and it's ideal for casual as well as formal wear. The delicious perfume is a sweet, softly, floral Egyptian musk fragrance. This perfume leaves you with a light, refreshing aroma, and it simply smells delicious. JC is passionate about making everyone feel special at all times through amazing scents. JC is committed to make the world a better place, so part of their profits will be used towards direct charity assistance to help feed hungry families and meet their basic needs. You can also follow them on Facebook. Just search JC Store. JCFragrance.com. That's JASI, JCFragrance.com. Nourishing self-identity through eternal scents. Cancer is something that sadly touches all our lives, and when it affects young people, it's especially distressing. Josh has organized a GoFundMe for his partner Brandy, who was recently diagnosed with B-cell lymphoblastic leukemia. Brandy has been working in the healthcare industry as an interventional radiology technologist. She's dedicated her life to helping others inside and outside of work and has the biggest heart. Josh is asking for help to ensure that Brandy can focus all of her energy on the battle ahead instead of worrying about the price tag attached to her healthcare. Your support would mean so much to her. You can help Brandy by donating to her GoFundMe at GoFundMe.com/BrandyClipping. That's GoFundMe.com/BrandyKlipping. GoFundMe.com/BrandyClipping. And help Brandy beat cancer.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. There's a new Hunter Biden scummy story that just came out today. And let me just read a little bit of it. Hunter gone wild. Unhinged videos show Biden's son dancing shirtless, slipping down a water slide naked, and entertaining hookers at a pool party in a $4,140 per night rental in Malibu. And
it's all that money gets from his art.
Yeah, this was before the art. He invited prostitutes to his wild pool parties, took one photo showing two hookers naked in the hot tub with a jar of marijuana. There's a picture of him in bed with two prostitutes, and he loves being naked. They got him here naked and everything all covered up. He's one of the scummiest people I've ever known of in my life. And I've known some scummy people, but most people that are scummy don't take pictures and do this, especially when your dad is who he is. And he just is,
because
he has no fear of anything.
I believe that he hates his father.
Yes.
And I believe
Both the kids
he
do.
wants people to see this.
Ashley Biden does too. That's why she left the diary.
He wants to. He left his laptop on purpose.
Yeah, and she left the diary on purpose.
He leaks these photos on purpose. He wants people to see this. He wants to embarrass his father, as if his father's not embarrassing himself enough as it is. I just put a article on our Facebook group about Joe Biden getting lost at the UN again on stage, didn't know where to go, and asked somebody.
Did he try to shake hands with a ghost?
Asked somebody, how do I go? Where do I go from here?
Oh my goodness!
You have to see that one, but he wants to embarrass his father. He is an embarrassment. He's like the black sheep of the family, but he's out in the open. And to me, I don't know I think that's part of his motivation, because I think he grew up with his father loving Bo and not loving him. And this is payback time. And I think he has a lot of control over the money and over what's happening.
Yeah.
But I feel he is the weakest, most selfish, immature, spoiled person I've ever seen in the media, or as a person.
You know what?
He is totally immature and needs to grow the hell up.
I would say
total narcissist.
The last time, and I'd consider him a political person because of who his dad is. The last time we saw someone like Hunter Biden was Ted Kennedy. But the thing with Ted Kennedy, because of you didn't have social media, you didn't have high definition videos, and you didn't even have videotape, right, back in his heyday. So you didn't have the ability to record what was going on with the Kennedys. Ted Kennedy killed a girl out there, at Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
So these are,
was he into drugs and?
I would imagine he was into
hookers,
drinking because he was drunk when he drove off the bridge.
Yeah.
But they didn't have cameras like they do today, and even if you had a picture, how would you get it out there to the public? And
but
now
Hunter's
you can.
The one releasing these pictures. It's not like these are private moments. This is not like somebody, a paparazzi sneaking in the bushes.
That's true.
These are private pictures, private moments that he is leaking one way or another to embarrass his father and embarrass his family. And in a weird way, he probably thinks that this is his way of bragging. He thinks this makes him look good and virile, and like he's can get all these girls. No, you're paying these girls. You're not getting girls.
They got the money.
You're not getting girls. You're paying. He's worse than Charlie Sheen. I mean, that's saying a lot.
Yeah,
he's pretty bad. He's pretty scummy.
It's pretty scary. And Letitia James yesterday with this civil case was not just against Trump, but the Trump children, Ivanka, Don Jr. and Eric.
I know. Look how they go after Don Jr. I mean, that guy's a father. He's a great dad. He's a pillar of the community. He's a nice guy, and it's awful.
Don Jr. got divorced. He had that fling with that girl that was on The Celebrity Apprentice.
Aubrey O'Day.
Yeah, Aubrey O'Day, who's just destroyed her looks and everything.
It's okay. His wife had a fling too.
Oh, did she? And all you saw, there was Aubrey O'Day got ticked off at Don Jr. So she put a picture on Instagram of her feet next to his feet in a bed. And all you saw was their bare feet, okay? And she put that on Instagram. The media had a meltdown. Here you got Hunter Biden completely naked with hookers doing drugs outside during the day, and it's like a media blackout.
Yeah.
And, and it's so interesting when the way that the people in the media operate, they think they're doing the right thing by not covering this stuff up. Like, I give you an example. This stuff that came out today is from the laptop, but new things are being found on the laptop all the time. It's from 2018. So they tell, that was 2018, long time ago.
You don't think he's still like this?
Exactly.
He hasn't changed.
There was a video a couple months back with the Russian hooker who was waiting for her ride, who he had tuned up a little bit, and she looked terrified. He's like, did I hurt you? Did I hurt you? Did I do anything? Remember, he was trying to get her on camera because he was afraid the Russian pimp was coming over to pick her up. And you don't want to mess with those Russian mafia guys. And he was scared, and that total blackout. But Don Jr., Eric, and they always leave Tiffany alone and Barron. Well, they went in Barron's room.
Yeah, they did.
But they don't like Ivanka. They don't like Don Jr. They don't like Eric. And Letitia James, I mean, this business of Hunter Biden, he's involved in more illegal activity.
Exactly, and they have proof. They have pictures. They have videos. They have emails.
His
they
text
have
messages.
I mean, it's a mountain of evidence, and they
think
leave
about
the
this.
guy alone.
Think about this.
It's incredible.
The January 6th committee took Sean Hannity's text messages on January 6th from him. And here you got Hunter Biden with photographs and text messages doing crime. And,
they even said on the laptop,
old news.
You read Laptop from Hell, when you read Miranda Devine's book, that he even used Joe Biden's credit card to pay for a hooker.
Yeah, so Joe Biden paid for a prostitute.
I think that's a crime.
Well, that part of the book is interesting because
I think is prostitution legal in California?
No, he was at that Beverly Hills hotel, and it was such a big deal. Joe found out that he paid the Russian hooker with his credit card, and he sent 2 Secret Servicemen over, including one who was retired, who was at one time the director of the Secret Service, to the hotel to take care of it. It was a crisis.
But the Trumps are horrible people.
And I want you to think about this.
Oh, my gosh.
Everything that we know about Hunter Biden is just a little tiny, is like 2% of what the people in the media know about Hunter Biden. They know everything. And so the things we don't know about are scummier than this. But Don Jr., Eric, and Ivanka, they got this.
I mean, this is just the stuff
thing
that
from Letitia James against
that
them.
we see. What about what we don't see?
Well, what's going to happen
know about that.
when the MAGA Republicans, and by the way, that's a good thing to be a MAGA Republican. Be proud. When the MAGA Republicans take back both houses of Congress, we're going to see this laptop and Hunter Biden testifying in committees. It will be televised, not behind closed doors. And, of course, CNN and the rest, they won't carry it, but it'll be out there. It's going to happen.
So you were telling me Jake Tapper got Chris Cuomo's spot or Don Lemon's spot. He's going to be in prime time now. He got a promotion. Don Lemon definitely got demoted, whether he wants to call it that or not. You can't tell me he's not pissed off that Jake Tapper now has a primetime show and he's on in the morning at the crack of dawn, which is the last thing he wants to do. So CNN, again, is shuffling, like you said, shuffling the chairs on the deck of the Titanic. They're not bringing in any new people.
Now, let me tell you, because I have
mistake.
Okay. Now, some of you that have been listening to me for a while, you remember when Laura Loomer and I almost got arrested at the CNN town hall on gun control after the Parkland massacre? That was Jake Tapper's producer who had the cops come after us. And Jake Tapper, that tells you how nasty he is. Jake Tapper's producer went and got the cop and was going to come and throw us out of the event. We were just sitting there, and the cop knew me from the radio, and she said, "I don't care. Get him out of here if you got arrested." And then the cop told me everything that happened. He took out his iPhone and showed her who I was on the internet and said, "If you do that, the radio here in this market is going to be talking about for weeks about how Jake Tapper's producer had the police throw him out, and they backed off." So Jake Tapper's people also had these big thugs harass Laura Loomer and I during all the commercial breaks. In that town hall meeting, it was very calm while it was live, and then every time they went to a commercial break, they started harassing us.
Yeah.
When they were during commercial breaks. That was Jake Tapper's people.
Yeah.
Jake Tapper is not a nice man. The people that work on his show
Nobody at CNN
are
nice.
I mean, they are thugs like you
they're
wouldn't
liberals.
believe. And it was crazy. So they put him on at night in Fredo's old time slot. And
that's 8 o'clock.
So don't be fooled. CNN is not making just because they fired Brian Stelter over there, and they're trying to get Don Lemon to quit by putting him on in the mornings. They're still liberal over there. I don't buy any of this crap. Jake Tapper sucks.
Now, I'm guessing, and I won't see this, but when Don Lemon does his first morning show, he's going to say something like, "I'm so happy to be here. This is where I've always wanted to be. Morning shows are where it's at. This is, you get a jump on the news of the day and blah, 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 BS. He's going to tell you 10 ways from Sunday how happy he is, like for the first week or so on the new morning show.
See, I'm on the radio in the mornings, and in radio, morning drive is prime time, right? So I'm on in prime time on the radio. Yeah. But when you're Don Lemon on CNN, the people that watch television in the morning, that watch those kind of shows, First off, nobody watches any of those morning shows. You're all everybody listens to me on the radio,
true.
right? I mean, come on, guys.
I think he's going to hate getting up early.
But he's going up against the Today Show. The morning people that watch morning TV have been watching the same shows for 20,
And
30,
Fox
40
and
years.
Friends.
Yeah, nobody watches Fox and Friends. They listen to me.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're talking about TV people, people that do watch those morning shows, you're
TV's
right. They have a show that
Yeah.
they watch. This is a new show, and nobody wants
a new
to start
show.
their day with Don Lemon.
No,
He's
and
a jerk.
Don Lemon, there's a couple of things he has going against him on this show. First off, his day begins when he gets off the air at night, and he goes, and he's
He's gonna hate it.
He's like the most him and Anderson Cooper. They probably got different circles they travel in, but he's one of the top 2 or 3 gays of New York. Don Lemon. So he gets off TV.
Him and Shepard Smith.
Yeah. Oh, well, Shepard Smith's out. Shepard Smith's out. Don Lemon gets off TV.
Yeah.
And then he's out, I don't know, we go to the gay bars or whatever.
Oh,
he's
out
at a big
partying all
partying
night. You know
all
that.
night long in the gay world. He can't do that when he's got to be up at 3 a.m.
He is going to hate it. He's going to have to become a morning person.
So he's got that going against him.
Yeah,
and
he's gonna hate
the other thing he has going against him is he has 2 female co-hosts.
Yes.
And there's no way this guy gets along with women, first of all.
No.
Gay guys and women, it's like The View.
It'll be a problem.
It'll be like The View. It's all going to be all catty, you get a group of women there. And
Especially
also
3 women.
One thing you picked up on, Kathy, I didn't even think about this. He's used to having the whole show to himself to just blah, blah, blah. Now he's got to share the airtime with 2 women.
Yeah, no, he's going to hate it.
So he's not going to like sharing interviews or anything.
He'll have less control
It's torture.
in the sense that when you have your own eponymous show and you have a lot of control, I would imagine, over who the guests are, what you say. I would imagine you have meetings and you discuss these things. Now that he's doing a morning show with 2 other co-hosts, they're going to have input too. And he might give a suggestion and they might say, I don't want to do that. That's not a good idea. And he's probably not used to dealing with that. When you have your own show, you have a lot more autonomy over that show and you call the shots in a lot of ways. I mean, you know what I mean? If you're on a primetime show, I'm sure you have some clout there where you could say, I'm not going to interview that guy or I want to interview her. He's not going to have that kind of pull anymore because he's going to have 2 other women that are going to nix his ideas and they're going to be like, I don't want to do that. No, I don't think it's going to work well. And I think they're going to end up hating each other and not getting along because I just see him as not getting along with heteros. I mean, I just think it's going to be a problem.
Especially female.
Especially women.
heteros.
So, it'll be interesting. I won't be watching it, but I'm sure we'll see clips. But I might record I got to find out when the first episode, and I might record it because I'm telling you.
You better not watch it because I'm on the radio.
No, I said I'll record it. I'll watch it after with you. And I'm telling you, he's going to be going on, if he can get out of bed. He's going to be going on and on. I'm so happy to be here. This
by
is
the way,
amazing.
I forgot one thing about the Hunter Biden release.
Yeah.
There's also video, that the media won't report about on this new release that came out. There's also group sex videos of him. Okay. So, this thing, I'll tell you a funny thing. This happens sometimes. Okay. The Don Lemon morning TV show, I'm not going to be talking about it because I'm talking about it now, but in the future, I'm not. I'm not going to talk
unless something really funny happens.
I'm not going to talk about something that's on television while I'm on the radio. Yesterday, I get calls like this sometimes. It's so funny. Like when I'm live streaming on YouTube, and I'm doing the radio show, and like a couple days ago, President Trump was on Newsmax, and I knew he was going to be on Newsmax the day before at 8:40 in the morning. And then I see people in the chat, Trump's coming on Newsmax in 20 minutes. And I'm thinking, what are you thinking? And a lady calls me up on the air and she's like, Trump, he's on Newsmax. I'm like, okay, let me turn on the TV. I'm on the radio.
I don't know why people do that in the chat.
I don't think they're thinking.
It's so rude.
It is rude.
To go into a chat where you're doing a show, and I don't think they mean to divert people
it's rude.
From your show, but that's what they're doing, and I don't think they mean to be rude. But I think it's a little
when they'll come on.
To do.
Trump's coming up on Fox and Friends at 8:30. Everybody,
everybody, turn this off and go watch this.
What you hear me say all the time is I kind of say the same thing. Is there anything else on TV that people should watch instead of listen to me on the radio? It is very rude when people do that. And I know most of you don't mean any harm by it.
I don't think so.
That do that. But think about that for a second, right? You know, like, for example, Trump was on Newsmax. I knew he was on at 8:40 a couple days ago while I'm still on the radio. Anytime he does an interview, you can watch it after I'm off the air like I'm going to do. You don't have to leave me, and you certainly don't have to tell all of my viewers on YouTube or my listeners on the radio, turn the dial, Trump's on, turn off the radio, turn off the TV. I mean, it is insulting. I think it's rude when people do that.
I don't think they mean to be.
You don't think?
No, I don't. I think your audience is overall pretty nice.
I don't know.
I don't think they mean to be rude, but
that's pretty insulting. It's rude.
But I don't think their motivation is like nefarious or anything.
Not all.
Like that.
Sometimes it is.
They're just excited about Trump. It's not about dissing you. It's just excited about Trump.
I'm excited about Trump too,
especially if he hasn't done an interview in a while. But we'll see what happens over the next few weeks.
Yeah, that does tick me off sometimes when people are in my chat
Brian
room.
has his pet peeves.
Well, that's kind of rude. I mean, that's just kind of rude to do.
Yeah.
Anything that's kind of rude to do?
Like I said, it is, but I don't think their intention is to be rude.
Maybe now that I've brought attention to it, it'll either cause it to happen more or
it
people will say, well, I'm going to be a nice guy.
You might have just made it much worse.
Exactly. No, it made it much. It doesn't. It doesn't piss me off or anything. I'm not, that insecure.
Yeah.
But it is kind of rude. But listen, we're all out of time.
Oh wait, I wanted to before we go.
Because we got to run. Oh yes.
We have a new website that our daughter did, BrianCraigShow.com. Same address,
but a new site.
But all new site, and it's got all the links and takes you to everywhere you need to go. The link to the store, the Patreon, Brian's social media. She did such an amazing job, and also there's a mailing list you can sign up for that we're building, and we're going to try to get a big mailing list and do like a monthly newsletter for people, and you can contact us through that, and we'll get your messages and write you back. So please check out the new website. There's everything you need now is much better than the way we had it before. Everything you need is on there. And you just keep scrolling down. It's very interactive and user-friendly. I mean, I was so impressed with what Emily did. I could never, ever have done that. And I think she realized we needed help.
Yeah, we do.
But check it out, seriously, and sign up for the mailing list and give us a contact, message us and just check it out. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it is.
BrianCraigShow.com.
That's right. It's the same address, but a new website.
And there's a picture of me up there, which you never get to see.
That's
it's
true.
A picture of me with Brian.
That's
Because
true.
she did the whole thing and she had a picture of you. And I said, well, can you put a picture of me up there? Oh, yeah, I can do that for the podcast because there's a podcast link. So that was pretty cool.
Well, listen, we are out of time, but we'll be back next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will talk to you next time.
It's time to get your life organized. With Mommy 2 Genesis on Etsy, that's JENESIS, you will find printable planners that are perfect for getting your busy life under control. Whether you need a social media planner, planners for fitness, or study planners, Mommy's 2 Genesis on Etsy can help. The social media planner is perfect for you small business owners. It's designed with small shop owners in mind and allows you to plan out specific details of your social media accounts to gain more followers and interactions. The fitness planner is great to take notes with. Plan your workouts, your fitness goals, log your workout, track your sleep, calories, habits, manage meal plans, set goals, and achieve your sport results. It has everything you need to get fit and take your health to the next level. Start shopping right now. Mommy 2 Genesis, that's all one word, on Etsy. That's JENESIS. Mommy 2 Genesis on Etsy.com.